Welcome back to another episode of Losing It. And this week we are going to talk about the magic of the one-to-one and why that might be a good option for you if you've never actually experienced a one-to-one relationship with a consultant or done weight loss that way. Aren't we now?
Yes, we are, because it is one-to-one by name, one-to-one by nature. Are you still Cambridge? Yes, we are
Yes,
still
we
Cambridge
are.
Weight Plan. Yes. But a few years ago, we rebranded because they did a massive customer survey, market research, and the feedback was very loud and very clear. What people loved was the one-to-one relationship, and actually the name was created because that's what people kept saying.
Yes.
So that's what people refer to us as. Or, you go and see my mate Heidi, she'll sort you out. Yes, you go and make an appointment with Nelle, she'll give you the good talking to that you need. But it is the one-to-oneness, and that's not, there's different strokes for different folks, but we've all tried other various things. Show me anybody that hasn't. And we've all tried going it alone. We've all tried doing it in groups. We've all tried buddying up with disastrous consequences. Our best mate, our mum, our sister. It's all well and good until somebody loses more weight than somebody else. But I think more importantly, the thing that it really emphasizes is that thing that you love about what you saw your colleague, friend, sister, next door neighbor do with their weight loss is not, it's not that you need the plan down to the same letter that they are doing. It's that you need the right plan, because that's the X factor. That's the thing that's giving them the edge with their progress and their wellness journey. And it's that has been done through real in-depth, a kind of deep dive on who they are as a person, their lifestyle, their preferences, their medical conditions, their starting weight, their goals, their availability to do this, their focus, their values, their why. A lot of your weight loss journey is crafted hand in hand, one-to-one with your consultant about why. Why do you want to do this? What drives you to stick to a plan, and all of those other things? So that's what Heidi and I work really hard to do around the structure that is the one-to-one diet.
Yes, and I think if you're finding this video kind of before you've done much research or you don't know much about the diet itself, we have a range of plans. It's not just a one size fits all. And because we have that range of plans and you get your consultant, which is either me or Nell, or if you choose somebody else, please don't, we're lovely. Your consultant, we look at those plans, and in that discussion, like Nell was saying, we figure out what's going to be the best fit for you, and then we talk about how we can make that work. What are the little tweaks that are going to be useful for you as an individual and make this feel easier for you? And so it isn't a one size fits all. It's kind of a few sizes, then we'll find the one that fits you and makes it work for you.
And that's really where it comes back to values as well, is that everybody's got different lives, everybody's got different deal breakers, everybody's got different things that they think are important and matter enough to step up for, or to augment the plan, it's really bespoke. It really is tailored. We're coming in with a set of pins, and like little measurements make a big difference to the final look. And it's also about the focus of, now it can sound a bit like, oh, there's so much focus on me. I quite like hiding in a group. I quite like it on a week when I haven't done so well, where I can use Susan in the slimming group as a human body shield, and I don't have to talk about myself. It's not relentless like that, because once you're set up on a plan, what we're doing is just kind of we are troubleshooting the next section, the next week. We're not setting you up on a plan and going, well, there you are, that's the plan, you can either stick to it or you can't. And it gets rid of all of that, well, this is the plan, this is an immovable concrete block, you have to want it badly enough, and you just keep headbutting same concrete block over and over again because you feel inadequate that you can't do the plan. Now, if the plan is the same for everybody, there are going to be some people that however badly they want it, it doesn't fit them for some reason. And that's where the difference is. So it really gets rid of comparison.
Yeah.
Instead of comparing yourself to your neighbor, colleague, or whoever that you're looking at, you're thinking, right, it's the essence of them finding the thing that finally worked. And when you look at my weight loss transformation, Heidi's, when you look at the one-to-one website or the all the social media that we put out, those amazing weight loss transformations, that magic is that they finally found the thing. And yes, it's the one-to-one, but it's more than that. It's that relationship with themselves that allows them to explore some of that other stuff. Stuff? Is that the word I'm
Yeah.
really looking for? But comparison is the thief of joy, isn't it? So you're
Yes.
not in the slimming group going, well, actually, Heidi lost more than me this week, and we're doing the same plan. So that's not
Well,
fair.
yeah, and also getting frustrated, and then when it's your turn to speak, I hated that bit, I'm just gonna say. When it's your turn to speak and you're supposed to be honest about what's been going on, or bare your soul in front of 50 other people in a church
This is the
hall,
thing. You're trying
you're
to
not gonna say the thing.
encourage to bare your soul because on some level there is an understanding that this is more than the calories you ate. And yet,
Yes.
so are we leading this group or are we peer-to-peer support? Because there is a place for peer-to-peer support, but if we don't have a leader leading, then what we end up with is, oh, well, hun, you're lovely. Better luck next week. That's what
Well,
got
and
me out of
also I
the
think when we're
group.
sat in those groups, and not for everybody, sometimes that works for some people, and happy days if that is you. But I think we sit there thinking about, if I say this, what's everyone else going to think? Am I going to be judged? What, maybe I will just say a half version of what actually happened, or a half
Interesting you
version of
should
how
say
I
that because I
feel.
have a lady on plan at the moment who we know on a Saturday morning toodles off to a very friendly weight loss group. And she does it in her own words, and I quote, for the crack. She does it because there are lovely ladies now.
Yes, it's
And
a
I
lovely
go and
sociable
I bring
event.
along. But you know what she doesn't do? She doesn't have those conversations
No,
because she's doing the one-to-one with me. So she
yeah.
comes and has those conversations with me. She's losing weight with me doing the one-to-one. And she goes there on a Saturday morning for the clicks. And I love that for her because why not?
Why not?
There's a bit of recognition there. She's not BSing. She's not telling them that, that she did some plan that she's not doing. I don't think she's actually contributing about what she's really doing for her weight loss, but she's going there for the celebrations. There's definitely a place for those groups. There is definitely a place for peer-to-peer support. The difference is that I was doing years ago in 2013, I did Lighter Life. And to a great extent, meal replacement plan, the structure, the plan and the maintenance and the way out, not as good as the one-to-one for sure, because that's what kept my weight off, was doing that bit. But the structure and the meal replacements, right? You had to do the group. So the lady that I went to see was lovely, but she had been trained to gatekeep my bag of products until I got through her presentation. And that was the bit that I identified that I really struggled with. And unfortunately, what that did was it pushed me down the road of, oh, just give me the meal replacements. I can do it myself. I can do it on my own.
Yes.
And I'm a bit like that anyway. If there's a DIY, if there's a YouTube tutorial for it, I can over research it and I can just do it myself, right? And it was a very humbling experience because really what it taught me was I ended up Googling something like Lighter Life, but without the group. And that was what made the difference, was recognizing that I needed that person to play that part in my life. I needed somebody to check my spelling and grammar. I needed somebody to read my homework once a week and have me stand on the scales and to say it out loud so that I could break down some of the, quite frankly, I was going to say crazy, but crooked, woolly thinking, the narrative in my own head that was just keeping me going round and round and round and round in circles. So breaking free from a lot of that made a huge difference, and it was really contributed to why I became a consultant. I don't think that I'm the fairy godmother that can make you lose weight, but I can give you that time and that space and that that kind of protected place where you can talk, offload, rationalize, work through a lot of this stuff because it's not that you don't know, but you can soundboard it out. And having a
Yeah.
consultant makes a huge difference. Like Heidi said, I'm not talking about that stuff in a group.
No,
Not,
it's being
not
able to say to somebody, have that relationship, know you trust that person, you know you can say anything, they're not going to judge you, they're going to help you work through that, put some objectivity back in, and then come up with a plan for the next week that feels good.
heaven forbid you would shock the group. We're unshockable, aren't we, Heidi?
We're completely unshockable, quite frankly. I think I've been there and collected a whole wardrobe of t-shirts, quite frankly.
I think the
But
the only
that's the thing.
you only have to care about the person that's standing in front of you at that time. And it allows us to be laser focused on you. And we are both blessed with being, the one that can remember everything the next morning. the sober friend that remembers you dancing on tables. We do remember. We remember the details and what that and how that impacts you, what matters to you, where your triggers are, helping you to identify your strengths, which I think when we're struggling is something that we really find very challenging to do for ourselves. It's not always about pointing out the weaknesses. It's not always about going to the dentist just to be told that you're not brushing well enough and that you should floss. You're like, yep, tell me something I didn't know. It's about
Yeah, a lot of it is about here's all the good things you're doing. Look at
finding
all the changes you're making. Look
finding the
how
strength.
much progress you
Yeah.
are achieving. Stop negating it because you had a nibble of a chicken nugget once this week. Look at all the other stuff you actually did. That we can deal with. That's an easy fix. Don't worry. Look
Yes,
at all the
that's
progress we're making.
and that's the thing that I
And
think
we don't
left to your
recognize
own
that.
devices, you really struggle with that, don't we?
Yeah, I saw something this week, and it was kind of in the weight loss, but also be happy even though you're overweight and just accept yourself kind of space, which is a weird space that people often find themselves in. And I know I did at my heaviest, but it was talking about the narrative that sometimes people have in that we shouldn't celebrate weight loss. It should be
I
natural.
yeah. I,
I'm sorry. You are working blimmin' hard to change those behaviors, to move yourself to a more positive place. And you deserve the recognition. You don't need to minimize that for yourself. You deserve
I
to
know
recognize
we're
the work you're doing.
made to feel very bad for wanting to celebrate a
Yes.
smaller body, and it's not about that, and I think it really dismisses the internal progress that people are making with their self-esteem, their self-worth, which is intrinsically linked with the way, yes, there is a huge problem with thin privilege and the way that people, I was talking to my clients only the one this week who's lost 10 stone, and we're talking about the way people
Yes.
quite frank, I mean, honestly, straight up, actually, they didn't want to be friends with me before. They didn't want to know me, and now, now they're all over me. It is appalling, and there are wider societal issues there, especially in a world which really values. It seems to value smallerness and thinness. I mean, look at the diet industry, but it does go to such an extreme, like you said, about sort of, well, just give up on yourself then, as if the outside doesn't represent the inside and how I feel about myself. And I think a lot of us are trained or made to feel bad for wanting to celebrate our own personal progress. Again, it's all about comparison being the thief of joy. Sometimes recognizing that progress is so difficult because somebody else lost more than you. And that it's not about them losing more than you. You started at different weights. That person's 20 years younger than you. All of that, but it can still get the better of you. It still hurts. The smartest people I know can still get really affected by that, partly because you are so smart and so high achieving. You feel like you want to be winning instead
Yeah.
of recognizing the progress. You're never going to see these people again. You don't know them in real life. Stop it.
No, and also what I hear from a lot of people, especially those of us that are very clever, have lovely jobs and are running our own lives and very independent and very good in all other areas. I know what to do. I'm
Yes,
just not doing it. And the one-to-one
that
relationship
can keep you
gives you a
stuck.
chance to insulate yourself from all of that into a little protective bubble for a little bit. Find your feet, find your confidence, get it under your belt, realize it's achievable, make some progress without all of that other stuff coming in, and somebody to give you some objectivity so you're not blaming yourself all the time, getting frustrated at yourself all the time, and say, no, that's to be expected, or that's quite normal, or that's part of the behavioural kind of flow chart of change that happens to everyone. Don't worry. Those things are really valuable when you're trying to change behaviours for the longer term and move yourself to a positive place where you can keep that weight off for a much longer period of time.
Absolutely. I think that is true, isn't it? It's that constant reframing, that drip, drip, drip of, I need a really good talking to. You're like, okay, we need some perspective and
Yeah.
objectivity, rather than, that it's not all carrot or all stick, but it's something that we've learned to do over the years of being consultants. There are, like Heidi said, there are norms, there are universal truths when on a health and wellness journey. And there are also, known pitfalls There are, there are common mistakes that everybody makes. And if you are left to your own devices, you might take them personally, and that might be enough to stop you. And we're out here beating this drum as loudly as we can, saying it doesn't have to be like that. Like Heidi said, you are allowed to celebrate your progress. We're not here to make you the thinnest person in the room. We're not on a relentless weight loss drive. We are here to work with you and your goals. It's what makes it so infinitely fascinating as a job, is moving, bending, changing, so that your advice really resonates with the person that you are working with.
Yeah, we're not here to fix you. We are here to work with where you are now, what your behaviors are, how you deal with things, how you utilize food, so that you can implement things that work for you, that mean you have a more positive outcome. We're not here to make it perfect or force you to be perfect. That's not needed for success and long-term weight maintenance.
And in terms of body positivity, you already are. You are
Yes.
lovely. You are perfect just the way you are. The person that was brave enough to watch this video, book an appointment, pick up the phone and say it out loud, they deserve all the respect. We don't hate past versions of ourselves just because we're praising the newer version of ourselves. We're not going to turn into, it's not about, being better than. That's not, we're not even in competition, the whole look in the mirror, that's your competition. We're not in competition with anyone, not even past or, past versions of ourselves or future versions of ourselves. That's one I've always fallen foul of. The future version of me, she is perfect, Heidi. She's perfect.
Yeah.
She's finally got everything on her.
I mean, essentially, she's an AI robot, right?
Oh, all the doom piles are all sorted. But everything is done, everything is straight, everything is ironed, everything is where, like, this is never, ever going to happen. The sooner you come to terms with that, the better.
It's disappointing. We do recognise it's disappointing to not realise that you can't become that person.
The future version of me will get started next month, because by then she will have got everything sorted and everything straight, and then she can go at it 100% full pelt. The future version of me has got it all figured out and has worked on all of that, and is going to start from a really, like, stop it. We're not hating on yesterday and the mistakes that we might have made, and we're not going to kid ourselves into thinking, when I finally do this, I'm going to do it for reals, I'm going to do it for keeps, I'm going to do it all, I'm going to revolutionize everything else in my life as well. Like Heidi just said, no, we're not going to, we're not going to get fixed in some way. We're not going to be, I'm all right now because I look fixed from the outside. I look, because of the weight loss. That stops people from getting started, doesn't it?
I was just going to say,
I'll start in 2 weeks when
whole narrative will have you never start. It's the narrative I had. It probably took me 2 years before I eventually got my butt in gear, and at which point I'd got myself to the point of desperation. And you don't have to do that to yourself. You don't have to hothouse yourself quite like that. Because if you're not careful, and I said this, I had this conversation with my slimmers this week who came back to me going, I'm not going to wait till September, am I? And I'm like, no, you're not, because I will do it in September. Beginning of September is very busy. It's busy for everyone.
Oh, no, but by September, it'll be all right, because I'll be able to do it 100%.
Yeah. And September will soon be October, which will be November, which will be Christmas. So that's not worth starting. And then it'll be January. We don't have any money. So then it'll be February. But February's a bit cold. So then it'll be March. And before you know it, 6 months have disappeared. And you were like, what happened? I was going to start.
It's trying to be perfect.
Yes.
It's trying to be perfect. And I think there is an honesty that comes with a one-to-one setting where, I'm not perfect. And you're like, oh, thank God for that. I'm so relieved, because nor am I. None of us are. That's okay. Good. Now we've got that out of the way. Should we make some progress?
Yes, exactly. And I think that's the thing, we chat to our swimmers all the time and we're like, I've done that. Or someone comes and they're parents, you're like, oh, that's totally understandable. With everything you just listed there, that's understandable that was the outcome.
And I've still lost the weight. Yes. I've done that. This is what we can do about it. And I still lost the weight. And so have lots of my other slimmers. So, we talk about lifing and things getting the better of you and mitigating circumstances and all of those sort of things. But it's an evidence-based plan. We have more clinical randomized trials, more clinical evidence than any other diet out there for weight loss and weight maintenance. What we're not going to do is wish you luck and try harder. We're not going to do that thing of, of just saying, well, better luck this week. This is the plan. So better luck sticking to it. Remember the concrete block? Better luck just running head first into that again this week, hun. I can't bear it. It's very demoralizing. And there's a lot of that narrative around in peer-to-peer support. So just be mindful of it. I love cheerleading and doing it together and that sense of togetherness. And I'm not bitching on it, but just be careful of it, because if the narrative in your head is, well, that's what I need to do, you deserve better than that, actually. We can celebrate each other's success, but if we have nothing constructive to offer when things aren't going brilliantly, other than, well, you need to want it badly enough, you're not motivated enough, otherwise you would have stuck to it, right? That's the wrong plan. It is our job to make the plan work for you. That is the linchpin. That is the role. We're not here just to explain it to you, sell you the meal replacements and say, there you go. Yeah, we've got all the clinical evidence, it works. It's not a faith-based thing. But if you don't have faith in yourself, you can have all the clinical evidence you like because you're not sticking to it. So, it is a very one-to-one process. Even when you're working with friends living together, mothers and daughters, married couples, some of my absolute favorites, brilliant amount of cheerleading and support. You will knock chocolate eclair out of your mum's hand or your husband's hand faster than you ever would for yourself, because you will, because you can bring it for somebody else, can't you? And you can really believe that that person's worth more, and you can do this. It's ourselves we struggle to believe in so much.
Yeah.
But when things aren't going well, it can be too close. There isn't that objectivity in those relationships. And that's where a consultant can come along and say, you are both doing the one-to-one diet, but you need different plans. You need different steps. You need different approaches. You need to own one-to-one appointments, because what bothers her don't bother him. And what really gets the better of him doesn't bother her at all. And that's what makes the difference, not just in losing it, but in keeping it off forever, for keeps.
Yeah. It's about those real world practical solutions, not, there's a place for motivational memes. Send to my slimmers all the time and say, you're doing a fantastic job, but it has to be backed up with practical solutions that are going to work for you. What are you actually doing on a day-to-day basis that leads you down the path to success?
And
that is the crux of it.
And we will, like we have been on YouTube for 5 years, we will be here to say that as many times as our slimmers need to hear it, in a way that it works for you, in a way that it lands with you. And I think some people think, well, I don't want to bother her. It's the same conversation over again. She's probably sick of hearing the same narrative. No, that's the bedrock of habit change. We will say it, and in a way that you can hear it as many times and as loudly as you need us to. That's why we are still here after all these years saying this on YouTube over and over again, because that is what it takes. Stop telling yourself you don't need to hear from Nell and Heidi again because you know the plan. You just need to do it. You just need to get up, because I can hear you. I can hear you through the screen. I need to get off my fat ass, and I just need to do it, and I just need to want it badly enough. And
I just need to. It's my favourite saying. Just need to get my head in the game.
Oh,
stop it. Stop it. I'm going to tell you how you get your head in the game. You go to your appointment, you work out a plan that works for you, you come up with some practical steps that feel doable, and then you just focus on doing those and not worrying about everything else, and you will build the momentum, and motivation will suddenly show up when you start building momentum and consistency. You don't get your head in the game. Motivation doesn't suddenly appear. You create it. And I think that's one of the biggest myths around it. You create it by taking positive action for yourself, even if that positive action is just sending an email, sending a message to me or Nell and saying, hi, could you help? That is positive action, putting you in the driver's seat, you in control. When you feel like you are driving this, motivation is going to be right there with you, because suddenly it is in your decision making. It is your choice. This is your journey, and that is exactly how it should be the whole way through. And that's what we're trying to empower you to feel like, because then it will be doable. You will feel like suddenly you'll be going to us, oh my God, this was so easy this week. It's so doable. I had a slimmer say, I don't know how I'm doing it. I've done it for 2 weeks. I lost 9 pounds. I don't know how I'm doing it. You surprise yourself.
The week after that, and the week after that, and build that momentum. Exactly. I think that's a mic drop. I don't think there's nothing more. That's it. Exactly what you said.
And we love doing our job. We love supporting you. We love empowering you to feel like you can achieve everything you want to, and you don't have to hate yourself in order to want to get to a healthier position. They are not exclusive of each other. So if you are thinking about coming back to plan, doing plan again, doing it for the first time, want to have a little chat about what it entails, then do contact either me or Nell. We would love to hear from you. Our contact details are always in the description below. And we are here every Monday, and we have been here for nearly 6 years. So please like and subscribe, and we would love to see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.